Hey, John Martinez here with Midwest Revenue Group, and this is the 21-day REI Sales Challenge. Today, I want to talk to you about people who really say they can fix things or do things cheaper than you can. You know, this one's for any of you out there that buy houses that maybe need a lot of work or a little bit of work or any amount of work, right? So let me kind of run this scenario by you, okay? Tell me if this sounds familiar. So you walk a property, you put together, your repair sheet, you get all your estimates together, you figure out basically, you're figuring out what you need to buy it for based on, backing out your numbers, one of those numbers being your repair estimates, right? And then you start the negotiation process with your prospect, start the sales process, and during that process, you kind of share your repair estimates to the prospect. And when you do this, they tell you something like, you know what, I can do that cheaper. Or, hey, it does not cost that much to do X, Y, Z. Or hey, man, your numbers are just off. That happens, right? So here's the problem with that. When this happens during a sales call, we lose our focus, okay? Now, what we should be focused on is really where the prospect is, right? What's their situation? What are we there to help them with? And where do they want to go, right? What's their picture perfect scenario look like? And really how we can help them get there, right? Where are you? Where do you want to be? And can I help you get there through my service? But the thing is, when we argue about repair costs, really anything, but for the sake of this lesson, repair costs, our credibility is at risk. We lose focus, right? We take our eye off the ball and we totally go down a rabbit hole we did not want to go down. And when we do that, we usually lose a little bit, if not all of the rapport that we've built throughout this sales call and probably worked pretty hard to build. So obviously, guys, this is a huge problem. It means that you're potentially missing out on deals that you might have been able to take down, right? It also means that you're not getting a return on your marketing dollars. And I know everyone wants a return on their marketing dollars. You need it, right? So you can put more money into marketing next month and hopefully have a little bit left over to take home as profit. When this happens, it also leads to a tremendous amount of wasted time. And when sales calls end on a bad note or without a sale because you run into this problem, it can really degrade the attitude, the commitment levels of you if you were on that sales call or your salespeople, right? Every single call that's a no, except for the special type of person, it kind of chips away at your attitude. So I want to ask you this. How many deals do you think you've lost because of this or just something like this, right? A question where you disagree and you get drugged down this rabbit hole and the whole sales call kind of takes a turn you didn't expect it to. Now that you're thinking about that, I want you to think about how much money does that equate to? How much time? Now, these questions are for you. They're not for me. So if you answered those questions and it was, hey, it's enough time or enough money for me to want to do something about, then this is what we're going to talk about today, right? What if you had the answer, a really simple answer, a highly effective answer? That's what this is for. This is for all those people that think that if they had the answer on how to handle these situations, they might potentially get another deal a year, maybe 2 deals a year, whatever it is. We're all in different markets. We all run different numbers of appointments, but that's who this is for. So if you want the answer to that question today, you're in luck. So I call it the Anaheim Refocus. Why do I call it the Anaheim Refocus? There's no rhyme or reason to it. I actually solidified this tactic while I was in Anaheim training salespeople for a real estate investment firm. So that's what I call it, right? The Anaheim Refocus. There's really no other reason besides that. But let's get to the meat of this thing, okay? Here's the trick to answering this question and really any question like it, okay? Because if we argue or if we try to prove the accuracy of our numbers, we're really fighting a losing battle. And I'll tell you why. Even if the prospect ends up agreeing with you, it doesn't mean we won, right? Because if we're right, what does that mean? It means they're wrong. And when people are wrong, they go into a state I call not okay, right? And when I say not okay, all I mean is something that doesn't feel good, right? If you're sad, you're not okay. If you're angry, you're not okay. If you're frustrated, you're not okay, right? So they go not okay. And now when we look at psychology, and we know this, we don't have to dig through any psychology textbook to know it. When we feel not okay, what do? We fight or we flee, right? We get hostile or we clam up, shields up, ears off, right? So neither of these things is going to lead to a sale, right? So even if you're right, it's going to make your prospect not okay, so you're not winning anything, right? They're going to fight or they're going to flee, neither of which leads to a sale. So what we need to do is simply refocus on a question we can agree on. So I want to kind of walk you through how to do it. So first I'm going to give you the steps one by one, and then I'm going to put kind of some scripting behind those steps so you could see what this would sound like in an actual sales call, okay? So here's how we do it. Step one, we're going to tell them they're right? That makes sense. If they're right, they can feel good. Number two, we're going to expand on that. We're going to actually make them into a hero. And after we do that, step three, we're going to explain why we can't do what they can. It's going to actually set us up for our explanation and boost our ego at the same time. It's a win-win. Step four, we're going to explain our shortcomings, our process, our model, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to finally just shift the focus of this thing. So I know that might sound like just a whole bunch of gobbledygook, right? Let's actually hear this in action, and I'll show you what it sounds like in real life, okay? So let's focus next on those same 5 steps, but I'm going to put some scripting behind it. Here we go, right? So we're going to start out with your prospect saying, you know what, maybe your number is 50,000. I could do this for 10 grand. I've got, friends in construction. I could go strike a good deal on a bargain at the local hardware store. I could do a lot of the work myself. Here's how we respond. You know what? I agree. I mean, I think you're right. I think, based on what you just told me, based on, your connections, your skill set, the deals you can get, you probably could do it for a heck of a lot cheaper than I can. I bet you could. Here's the deal. Unfortunately, I don't have those connections. I don't have the buddies who will, in construction who will help me out. And I got to pay what things cost, right? And the reason why is because, I have the way I have to do things when I buy houses, right? I've got to use a contractor. I've got to use a crew. I've got to, jump through some hoops and things like that. That's what I have to do. I can't do what you can. I wish I could, but I just can't. But you know what? At this point, it's that's my model, and I know you don't care about my model. It is what it is. It costs me what it costs me. It's the way I have to do things. But you know what? The real question here is going to come down to really whether or not I can help you, right? Whether I can help you get to wherever the heck you want to be. Pay whatever it is you need for the house to help you get there, and so forth, right? And really what we need to focus on is exactly what that help would look like. And after we figure that out, then you can decide whether it's even worth doing some kind of deal or not. Sound fair? So guys, that's it. It's really that simple. So just to recap real quick, here's what we're going to do. We agree, right? We tell them, hey, I think you're right. And then we come up with something else we can agree on. So you're right. I agree. You probably could do it much cheaper. I've got to jump through a lot of hoops. I got to do this. So can we agree that, at least for my model, I'll be paying more? I know that doesn't affect you, and that might be a deal breaker, but just, my model is my model. We have something else we can agree on. And then we shift the focus back to where it belongs. But regardless of what I pay, whether it's I get the work done for more or less than you, I know what I'm really here for, and that's, hey, you want to get some stuff done. You got some stuff you want to put behind you or somewhere you want to get, and we just need to focus on, can I help you get there? And if I can, am I the best person to help you do that? And then you can decide whether or not it makes sense to take some kind of next step, right? That's it. So simple. So let me ask you guys a question. What would your business look like if you mastered this concept alone, right? If you could use it in this scenario and any other scenario that has turned into arguments or some type of tug of war in the past. Well, if you want to find out, continue on with this 21-day REI Sales Challenge. And I invite you to take some of the stuff you learn, maybe not everything, but little things you think you can use, and go ahead and put it to work. My name's John Martinez. I'm with Midwest Revenue Group. Thank you guys. Have a wonderful day.